G'day viewers, the end of another working week means it's time for me, once again, to bring you the cheery news. The world really is totally fucked up. Now, let's start with some totally fucked up stories of police abuse of powers. We all know the policeman is our friend, mostly on our side. Few bad apples spoil the barrel. Holy fuck, the bad ones are really bad. Now, this first story is actually relatively minor on the scale of police abuses. It's a story from Canada where a guy walking along saw what he thought was an empty police car and then saw there was two sleeping cops in it. So he videoed them. They're sleeping on the job! And so, in what seems to me a fairly clear act of retaliation, they gave him a parking ticket because apparently he parked just in front of them, which was a space reserved for emergency vehicles. In terms of abuses, that's nowhere near as bad as, well, the police that shoot people, or the ones that charge people with a really serious crime for the heinous act of videoing them while doing something that could potentially be questionable. And if you want to get really depressed, there's a link down below to a site. I'll read the name to make sure I get it right. InjusticeEverywhere.com specialises in collating reports of abuses of power by law enforcement. And I got on this whole angle this week because of a viewer, a video a local viewer sent me. A local YouTuber sent me this video they posted, not surprisingly, on an anonymous channel of what looks pretty much like an abuse of power by a cop in Melbourne. Now, it seems to have been shot honestly, really cleverly and surreptitiously on an iPhone. The cops don't seem to realise they're being videoed at all. And given the behaviour of one of them, it probably would have gone really bad for the video shooter if they had noticed. Because apparently this is all an altercation about lads on a night out and jaywalking, and I think they seem to be belittling the cops for not dealing with more serious issues. I personally don't see any signs of aggression or danger from the lads in question when one of the cops grabs one by the throat screaming, "Don't mouth off at me!" No, he says, "Don't fucking mouth off at me, cunt," and hurls him up against the wall. Now, I don't know the guy in question. He might be a cunt for all I know. I have no idea where he sits on the nice guy to cunt spectrum. And I don't know for a fact how much he was mouthing off to the cop. But I'm just going to throw out here that a cop in that situation, grabbing someone who's showing no signs of aggression or threat, grabbing them by the throat and hurling them up against the wall, screaming, "Don't fucking mouth off at me, cunt." That cop might want a bit of looking at. I think he might have some issues. And to the best of my knowledge, this video hasn't been very widely seen yet. So maybe a few more people will, and maybe there might be a bit of investigation. Because if that sort of shit goes by uninvestigated, I think it's fair to call it totally fucked up. Now, to abuses of power on a much grander scale, the reaction, the rebellion, let's call it what it is, rebellions against various dictators around the Middle East and North Africa continues. I'm absolutely stunned by the domino effect going on. There's very disturbing stories coming out this week, particularly out of Bahrain and Libya, of police and military firing on civilians and killing, could be anywhere from dozens to hundreds of civilians. The way there's been a clampdown on news, it's very hard to be sure exactly what's happening. There's some fairly disturbing videos doing the rounds on YouTube of crowds being fired on and dead bodies being left behind. And in Libya, it has been confirmed that Gaddafi has ordered his troops to fire on protesters with guns, with rocket launchers, and he in fact instructed fighter jets to attack protesting crowds. And as horrible as that is, that actually did lead to one of the bright spots as far as I'm concerned, where at least two of the fighter pilots went, "Fuck this," and flew into a neighbouring country and said, "We're defecting. That prick ordered us to fire on civilians and we did not sign up for this shit." And there's an increasing groundswell of opposition. It looks a bit like Gaddafi's getting more and more isolated, but that's also making him seem more and more crazy and gonna fight to the last bullet. What a prick. And there isn't just uprisings against oppressive power mongers in the Middle East. In Wisconsin, in the US, state employees have got the shits with the state governor who wants to cut their pay and their benefits and stop them from collective bargaining, a basic union practice. Now, I think actually directly relating the Wisconsin protest to the uprisings in the Middle East and North Africa, it's a little bit stupid and also cheapening what people in those countries are doing. They're actually facing bullets. You know, so yes, you're still facing off against power, but you're not really staring down, you know, tanks and rocket launchers. Mind you, there was one prick in the Attorney General's office in Indiana who repeatedly called for live ammunition to be used on protesters. You know, yeah, kill them. I don't like their political stance, so fucking kill them. That's what we've got to do. I'll link you to the Mother Jones article where they followed up on him, and when, you know, he didn't back down, he called Mother Jones people typical leftists, which, actually, given Mother Jones, that's fairly accurate. But then, hilariously, he said, oh, you all hate the police, that's the problem. The police are the ones on strike, as teachers, police, firemen. Why are, you know, police and firemen heroes for the right in America up until they want a decent break? It's like the same fucking people, right? These people who want to protect their working wage, and you can argue all you want that they've got some cushy conditions, but the same people who say, that's evil and socialism, it's like wanting the richest 1% of the country to support a little bit more of the country with tax. That's wrong, but completely fucking over ordinary working people, that's right. That's sick and evil, in my opinion. Not quite as evil as advocating shooting protesters dead, particularly when, as we've seen, there are people crazy enough to be inspired by that sort of violent rhetoric to actually go and start shooting up people at political rallies. And it's not a defense to say, oh, that was just rhetoric. I can't be blamed for crazy things. I said it before. You say shit that appeals to crazy people. You don't get to fucking back down when crazy people act on it. And this prick wasn't speaking in metaphors. He directly said a couple of times they should be shot. Now, wow, surprise, surprise, he actually lost his job. Who knew you'd lose your job for actively advocating the murder of citizens of your own state? Crazy time. And just while I'm on the subject, slight side note, I have a little bit of trouble getting with people who justify, I'm a government employee railing against big government. Well, why don't you take the first fucking step and quit your job? Don't work for the government. Then it's that much smaller. The hypocrisy. Fuck. I mean, okay, I guess they can say, ooh, I'm fighting from within. I have to get in there and fight. And I can see that, but this is why I try and get people to realize, look, when you are pushing a particular political view, imagine your political nemesis pushing the same thing. How would you react? Would you say that's fair? Like these same fucking idiots, the Republicans, the teabaggers, all of them who say, yeah, big government. If, you know, an actual socialist, not the people they say are socialists, because these people don't seem to have a basic fucking understanding of what socialism is, but if an actual socialist was getting into big, you know, Wall Street companies, actively trying to destroy them, actively sabotaging their business, would you support them in that? Would you? And these stupid fucking laws of, you know, banning Muslims from doing anything. Look, if someone's a criminal, they're a criminal. Get them. Religion's no defense for that. Not if you're Muslim, not if you're Christian, not if you're Jewish, not if you're atheist. There's no defense for criminal activity. But people have no problem. Oh no, I'm going to ban the burqa, ban the Quran, ban halal food. No mosques in my town. Now imagine Muslims in America banning anything based on their religious views. And what would be the fucking reaction? Hypocrisy is totally fucked up. Okay, back to the Southern Hemisphere now. Now there's been just a tragic story in New Zealand this week. A major earthquake in Christchurch, as we're bracing ourselves for the death toll to be well into the hundreds. It's devastated the town. You know, it's just been tragic, just heartbreaking images of families learning, you know, their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, their children have been killed in it. It's absolutely awful story. Look, and I will have links below to where you can donate if you want to support the people of Christchurch. But I thought, rather than dwelling on it, because it's been wall-to-wall media coverage of it here, look, let's do something lighter about New Zealand. A lot of New Zealand's economy is about tourism, and in fact, one of the best holidays of my life was in New Zealand. It's an awesome place to visit. Here's something you should check out. I've taken the note because trying to pronounce this right. Coming up soon is the Hokitika Wild Foods Festival. They like to promote that as where the wild foods are. A really out there food festival. And particularly this item, which was actually being promoted by a racehorse owner from Christchurch at the Hokitika. I think, see, Maori word. I have no idea how badly I'm mispronouncing it. But the Hokitika Wild Foods Festival will allow you to indulge in shots of horse semen. That's not a joke name like so many cocktails are. It's actual shots of actual horse semen. Now, to be fair, they've acknowledged some people might not like the taste, so you can get flavoured horse semen. I like that. You can get cherry horse semen, licorice horse semen, or even some fruit pie flavoured horse semen. Something for everyone in there. And the promoter was saying, look, some people might worry about the collection, and I was relieved to hear that an artificial vagina was used to collect the horse semen. Because any food that involves artificial vaginas has my stamp of approval. But seriously, if you can't quite bring yourself to go for horse semen, there's quite a selection. You could also go fried scorpions, that's not even unusual in Southeast Asia, ram's testicles, bull's penis, pig guts kebabs, eel slime sauce, and you can wash it all down with some wasp larva ice cream. So there's a way to support the people of New Zealand. March 12th, the Hokitika Wild Food Festival. Horse semen shots. That's not fucked up at all. I'm going to round off with a story about some exotic pets. Some people think having creepy crawlies as pet is totally fucked up. Keen-eyed viewers will know I've posted videos of a pet we have in the house, a giant burrowing cockroach from Queensland. Now, our original cockroach, Crawley, did actually die. Sad, but one of her offspring is still alive, so we still have a cockroach pet in the house. Lives in a fish tank that's been converted to a terrarium. They're not like yucky cockroaches, by the way. They're nice, clean things. They eat gum leaves, and they live in sand. They're nice and clean. They're cute. Go and look up Crawley. I'll put a link to Crawley. But, okay, what can go wrong with having, creepy crawlies? Yeah, things like spiders, snakes, lizards. They're popular with all sorts of people. Well, they could fucking kill you for a start, as a 30-year-old in Dortmund, Germany found. Well, he may not have even realised it as he's dying. Ah, my precious black widow, you've killed me, you've killed me. His neighbours found it out when they reported an absolutely disgusting stench coming from his apartment. And when the emergency services got in, well, they quite frankly said it was more than a little like a horror movie. Now, if you're squeamish about spiders, you might not want to hear this, or you might not have wanted to see that either. Maybe I should have given you more warning. What a bastard! Anyway, the scene they saw, they rightly described as something out of a horror movie. The guy's body is on the lounge, covered in spider webs. There are spiders like crawling out of his nose and mouth, and because the lizards were loose too, and they were tearing chunks of flesh off his decaying corpse, and then the larger spiders like the tarantulas, the bird-eating spiders, were also taking chunks of his flesh back to their webs to eat. How do you even deal with that? I just say go in with flamethrowers. That would be the only way to cleanse that apartment, I think. Now, I think the guy's probably happy. Really? If you could contact him in the afterlife, I think he would be happy that he was looking after his pets, even in death. They didn't starve. He would have wanted that. He probably wouldn't have wanted them all to be killed, which, as my Twitter friend Nodella, who sent me the link, saying, is it wrong that I'm more sad about probably all these pets got put down rather than him dying? Quite frankly, he kind of asked for it with the being bitten, and it does seem likely that most, if not all of his pets would be killed in the clean out. But those are the risks you take, I guess. So people, think twice about your pets. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Animals generally, they're waiting for us to turn our backs to them, and then they want to fucking kill us.